Welcome. Hello. Welcome to Dude Get In. I said that correctly this time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Paralurks. This is my co-host, Pig Video Games. Say hello, Pig.
Hello.
Good job. And with us, back from his banishment, is honorary guest dude, Hylian Wolfo. Hello.
I appreciate the honorary on that. I,
Yeah,
I, I can have a little
you
title.
get you get the title for multiple appearances. It's it's like having the blue check mark on Twitter. It doesn't really mean much, but it's there.
I didn't have to pay for it.
That's true.
Oh, you'll pay
Right.
someday.
Yeah,
You'll pay for your crimes. You know what you did.
true.
And this month, I finally have people to talk about my favorite book trilogy with. We have dived in to the first book in the not Soul Hunter trilogy, the Night Lords trilogy. The book titled Soul Hunter from Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, we've only done the first book of the trilogy for this podcast, though.
Yeah, I figured one novel gives us enough content since we've done an episode on a book before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I'd say it's a good solid chunk to do a specific episode on. I like if we did all three, it would be incredibly hard
too
for us
much.
to
For,
remember
We
specifics.
that'd be
we have
a
to
lot to read. First of all,
Yeah, because they're like 12, 13 hours a piece on Audible, so that's a lot of hours in for a 1 month thing. And on top of that, very notable for the podcast, this is Pig's first, like, solid just dive into a Warhammer thing that's not a video game.
yeah. So
Yeah.
prior to this, I have played through the entirety of Space Marine 2, some of Space Marine 1, and bits and pieces of the real-time strategy games. And I'm
Yeah,
and,
I think you also touched you touched Dark Tide, I think.
I
Or am I
touched it
wrong?
like just like for one session before I decided I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you didn't like it. But yeah, just heads up for listeners. If you don't know about 40k or are not a fan of it, this is not your episode. I'm just gonna say that flat out.
Because there's a
Uh,
bunch of stuff you will probably get lost on.
yeah,
40,
I will not explain all of the context.
40K is really big, and there is a lot, and it's very difficult to actually be like get into it. I think like getting into it through the games like I did. I think it's pretty good. It's very easy to actually get into
Yeah.
because it's very focused on what's being told there.
Yeah,
I got
and unless you're doing one of the RPGs, like if you're doing a more like straightforward plot of your 40k game, like Space Marine 2 or something similar, it's a lot more digestible, I think. Like I can't imagine someone's first introduction into being into like the setting just be like, can you imagine if someone was like, oh, just pick up a Horus Heresy book? Just
aside
pick up
from the first one, which is decent for a starting point if you know nothing, but
yeah, but
like
like
any of the others, ooh.
it's like, oh yeah, just start on Master of Mankind. It's fine.
Oh God, no.
So I actually went through this book twice. The first time being, what's happening? Who are these people? Okay, I know who Talos is. I'm getting a lot from him. I know what all these things are, but like, where are we in relative to what I'm aware of in the setting?
Right, you have knowledge through osmosis of your multiple friends that are into 40k these days.
Mm-hmm.
And for the sake of like, I guess if listeners still care about the 40k but haven't read the book, I'm going to briefly give the major plot points just so there's a timeline listed for the context of scenes we'll discuss. Because Soul Hunter is a book about Talos Valkyrin, I believe his last name is. Not that they ever say it in this book. Uh, he is the unofficial but de facto leader of First Claw of 10th Company in the Night Lord Space Marine Legion, which is a traitor legion. Claw being the term they use instead of squads, but it's the same thing. We go through many events I guess the major ones in order being acquiring a navigator, heading to the Crive system and having a spaceship fight, uh, summoning the War Master's summons and being tempted by the powers of chaos, some battling on Crive, including saving Seventh Claw and getting some new friends, taking on a Titan, pretty sick. Awakening the War Sage, more fighting, having a vision, getting the fuck out. That's more or less our timeline. And we'll go into detail on all of that.
When you summarize it like that, it sounds very like, oh, not a lot happened in this book.
Yeah, like
the individual scenes are so dense.
Yeah. Like the process of getting the navigator in itself is a fucking ordeal.
Oh yeah, and it comes with a lot of bonus context if you know anything about the Night Lords going in because of the Nostromo. So before we deep dive, just initial impressions, fellas, because you already know I love the book.
I was very impressed with how much they managed to get me to care about the guys who steal your scrotum and wear it on their armor. like at the end, I'm like, listen, some of you are shitheads. I mean, all of you are shitheads, but some of you are shitheads. Like, I'm like, oh, get in here.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you, you space terrorist.
I'm rooting for you, I say, as a loyalist.
So I really like Talos.
He's
like,
so good.
Like, to me, he stands out from like what your perception of like what a traitor like Space Marine would be. Like he's very like even compared to like all the other Space Marines around him, he's very like human and like kind of down to earth.
There is without a doubt, without a doubt, regardless of what he'd say or what someone else would say, there is a lot of empathy from him. Because, like, yeah, sure, he goes and saves the navigator because the navigator is a useful like asset, and you can only have some of. And part of him is like, no, this was the thing I had a vision to acquire. This belongs to me. That is definitely there within his character. But at the same time, he takes the time to actually save Septimus and give him medical treatment. And on one hand, you could look at it somewhat, where on a practical hand of they are running out of slaves, they need all the capable ones they got, and Septimus is insanely capable. But on the other hand, you can tell he actually cares about their well-being more than just they are his slaves, which is weird to say, but this is 40K.
Like we hear about like his previous slaves, Primus, Quintus, and Secundus. Those are the ones we were told about. One of them he died like in battle, I think. One died. One got killed by the what's his name? The leader.
Exalted.
Yeah, the Exalted. The leader of 10th Company.
Yeah. Yep, there was one that went crazy from seeing too much of the warp, and Talos had to put him down.
Yeah, we never hear like any instance of like Talos like killing one of his slaves because they upset him or anything like that. So we get this impression that like like at the very least he is like fair with his slaves.
He is.
To take a second to kind of like add on to talking about Talos as a character. Talos is a character that I find very refreshing because, Pig, you haven't experienced a lot of 40K stories, but a lot of 40K Chaos guys are so bad. And like, because the problem is Chaos is the ultimate mustache twirling villain faction. And that
can be fun.
But a lot of the time, Chaos guys are very boring, in my opinion.
Like
they can be.
You do get that like mustache twirling supervillain like air from
the Exalted.
No, from the
Abaddon?
Abaddon, from Abaddon. You get a lot of that from Abaddon.
Well,
From the Exalted, you get some of that, but you get that. Oh, like he actually knows what's going on. Like he can be like reasoned with and be like you can like
Yeah.
argue with
And
him and like
even redeemed a
convince
little.
him. Yeah,
yeah,
like
I was very shocked by the Exalted's behavior at the end of the book because I'm
Can
like,
we just give a shout out to what a fucking shit he was being with it too? Oh no. Are we directly in the line of fire? However, will you fuck over our brothers if we don't move? Wait, are you sure you want us to get out of the way? You just told us to get over here. I fucking love that so much.
his like just like because he for context for people who may have not read the book or listening, the Exalted is one of the I believe the former captain or still technically the captain of the 10th
Yes.
company, right?
Yeah, it was before him it was the War Sage Malkarian. Vandred took over, but then at some point became corrupted by a demon, thus becoming the Exalted.
Yeah, and so he's corrupted by a demon, but what remains of him is still there, kind of fused with the demon, and inside they're kind of fighting for control. And
Yeah.
typically, what happens with Chaos Guys, from my personal experience of things, is when the Chaos Guy gets possessed by the demon, they become like mwahaha, but they also become boring. And the Exalted kept surprising me because in moments where I would go, okay, and here's time for I'm possessed by a demon cliche mustache twisting, he then does something incredibly smart and competent, and I'm like, oh, I didn't expect this. I expected you to be stupid for no reason.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
it,
really well written, and he wanted to make sure that he leaves in the tragedy that Vandred's still in there, and
yeah,
he's losing the fight, but you can still see there was something admirable there at one point. You can tell.
one thing that I think the book is setting up for like the later two books would be like Talos taking over like his position.
Mm. Yeah, because the Exalted is like notably scared of being usurped by Talos because a lot of people just listen when he speaks because they know that he's competent, smart, has the best interest of the Legion in mind, and also has his future sight like their Gene Father.
Yeah, like that's like a whole another thing. Like like I guess like he also got it, but like, it does. It kind of seems like they view it as like him inheriting that.
Yeah, because it's not the most common of things. So, Pig, you might have been aware of this just knowing us, but for the sake of fully explaining for the podcast, Uh, sometimes when Primarchs have a special, like, magic or warp based trait to them, Sanguinius had wings and future vision as well. Uh, a lot of them have different abilities. Magnus is just a super psyker. Oftentimes, some or all of those traits will be, like, just inherently part of their legion, and sometimes it's parts of it are more rare. For the Night Lords, it's somewhat rare for someone to have the future visions like Conrad Kurz had. But
I,
Talos has that shit, and they are pretty consistently correct.
yeah. Talos's visions are almost on the same level as Kurz's. I think the only reason Talos is able to handle it better is because he had like others in the Legion and Conrad to look up to as like the father figure. Because like he handles the I am fucking crazy juice way better than his dad did.
Oh yeah, he definitely does, and we don't know how much harder it hit Kurz internally. I haven't gone all the way through the Conrad Kurz book yet. I've only got partway through, but especially like with the context of everything that Conrad built up in life was by his own two hands and was just lost by how corrupt and terrible the people around him were. because it's just Nostromo. The second that he left back to crime, like the second he meets his brothers, his actual family, he immediately sees visions of all their death, and all of them wind up coming true. Like everything around him, everything he has is taken from him over time. Talos at least still has the Legion and his brothers.
He has
For now, they're limping along.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I really enjoyed about this showing is a lot of the chaos talk, especially from Abaddon as we get in the book, is no, we're justified in our, crashing out against the Empire or the Imperium. We're totally justified because the Emperor is a liar and our cause is righteous. And it's like, okay, yeah, the Emperor of Mankind's a liar, but you're not in a great state, dude. Like you like by the end of the book, do they have like almost like barely 40 Astartes.
Yeah,
And
before picking up the other company, because
yeah,
the Exalted puts his own ship in danger to pick up the remaining Night Lords from the other company that showed up. But before that, yeah, I think they get down to like 39 dudes before the final fight. And then they lose more. Like we lose Adamar in that last fight with the Dreadnought because he bum rushed it to get it off of, I believe, Zarl and Syrian. So yeah, at least 38 or less in 10th Company.
and like that is one of the things that is a really interesting dynamic about, you could have from Chaos. And it's just a shame that this seems to be the exception to the rule, at least so far. I haven't read every book, and I'm still going through the other stories, but it's like, damn, this is a really good look into Chaos that isn't just uh, Pig. You know how Uzas acts, like, right in the book, where he just starts going into a bloodlust.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
That tends to be most Chaos guys' like writing. But what really helps for me in this book is that he's like at one point literally scratching the wall like a dog who wants to get into a room because he wants to go in and fight. And Talos just like hits him in the head, like, stop that. You're being a freak.
Yeah. And another aspect of the book, because the book, like, it has great action, but it is very dark. It is a downer at times, but it's unexpectedly funny in moments as well. Like, I didn't expect, like, when I first read the book, like, a couple years ago, I didn't expect to be, like, chuckling out loud at my job as I hear these lines come out. But when you have moments like, Zarl picking up well, they have the observation, the screaming crowd of mortals is running towards us. That's a change. And Zarl picking one up and just screaming full volume, blowing out his eardrums. Where are you stationed? Is it the gunnery deck? Before the guy freaks out and domes himself trying to kill Zarl. Or them being in the Thunderhawk and Uzas just blood for the blood god. No one asked you. Shut up.
Yeah, that was good.
I love those.
Like, shut up about your blood god. No one cares.
Because what's funny is, like, when it comes to characters from just like one-off stories, because when I say Chaos tends to be boring, I have to have an asterisk on that, which is none of the Primarchs, because all the Chaos Primarchs are still interesting on a grading scale of interesting, in my opinion, but still interesting. But a lot of Chaos Space Marines tend to be very boring, because they just are just monster murdermen.
Oh yeah.
But the Night Lords, the first Night Lords book does a very good job at giving that. And like, I'm trying to think, like, the only other one I could think of is Eliphas, like, from Dark Crusade. Eliphas the Inheritor is one of my favorite one of my favorite like chaos voices. And then, of course, in Dawn of War 2, they completely just changed his personality and fuck that all up, and he's just generic chaos guy. I'm like, oh.
That's disappointing.
Even though I really like Dawn of War 2, I'm a Dawn of War 2 defender, though Dark Crusade's my favorite. But it's like, oh, there was a really cool chaos character here. He's gone now.
Hmm. Yeah, Aaron Dembski Bowden gives a good insight into, because like Chaos is known to have a lot of infighting because it's made up of demon armies and 9 legions of differing space marines. And then a lot of those legions are broken up into different war bands because Chaos has infighting. And Chaos is known for having all this infighting because there's 4 different sub-factions of Chaos, and then that's split across the legions. And then there's stuff like the Night Lords, who aren't actually aligned with any of the Chaos forces. They're just in it because fuck the Imperium.
Yeah, like that's
But
that's the thing that like I found interesting was like I before this book I had the impression that like they all subscribe to one maybe more like chaos gods, but the Night Lords like seem to like just aren't to any of them.
yeah, most of them don't even like chaos. They see chaos corruption and go, ugh, get away from me. And when people are corrupted, it's by differing souls. There's 3 different corrupted Night Lords, and all of them by a different deity. The Exalted is by a Zinchian demon, Uzas by a Khorne demon, and Syrian, the least fucked up, seemingly, is by a Slaneshi one.
Yeah, in the case of all the Chaos Space Marines, you tend to have we worship one of the gods or we worship Chaos Undivided, which is all 4. And when it comes to like the main original like legions going to Chaos, for a while it was only the Night Lords and then Iron Warriors that were like not Chaos aligned, and then I think eventually Iron Warriors got changed to Chaos Undivided, which is a little disappointing to me because it you don't have to make the only enemy of the Imperium that is also human chaos aligned as well. I think you can have some variety. But also, Games Workshop wants to sell a giant demon Primarch statue. And they don't need to do that for Curse because they can't. So.
Yep. Just canonically dead. But yeah, the Iron Warriors become chaosy, and the Night Lords get nothing outside of this trilogy. Except soon we're getting more Aaron Dembski Bowden writing. Hell yeah!
Oh, that's
Thank
good.
you, Rogue Trader 2, which isn't called Rogue Trader 2.
The game that is essentially a sequel to Rogue Trader, where you play as an Inquisitor agent, is going to be written by the guy who wrote this book.
Yeah, and feature the Night Lords, which I am ecstatic about.
Nice.
Yeah. And also, I will just throw this out there that, we've given this book a lot of praise so far. I consider this to be the weakest of the trilogy.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, actually,
because
I can see that actually because of like as you
we don't have all
the
the characters that I love yet.
Like as you summarized, it's actually like relatively simple and like straightforward.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes and a lot happens, but there are certain parts of this book that are set up to pay off later. For example, I love Septimus and Octavia and their dynamic and their individual characters. Octavia doesn't actually do hardly anything until the very end when she just takes up the mantle of official navigator of the ship.
Yeah, I expected
This
more. I expected
current-
like more like I expected her to do more things in the book.
Yeah, her entire thing in this book is just kind of accepting her place as a slave and as a navigator, subject to Talos's will. That and accepting the fact that not everything is bad because she has the companionship of Septimus there, who is a just surprisingly kind and understanding and helpful and just good dude for a heretic that she doesn't expect.
Yeah, what good for her, what he kind of already is, and what he kind of shows her is like, listen, you don't have to be all maim, kill, burn, heretic, like, loyal. You just have to do what you can to survive.
Yeah.
And like, deep down, part of him still is tied to his time with the Imperium before not Chaos, before joining a group of renegades. Like when he says the by the Golden Throne, or I forget the specific word, but he invokes the
Yeah.
throne in like a state
Right.
of shock, which earlier he warned her not to do.
Yeah, and he even admits that he hasn't said those types of words in like many years now. But by the end, he does just on an instinct that somewhere in him still says it, which is good because I love like because he has well, he doesn't have much of an arc in this book really. He's just there as an anchor point for other characters, but he's still great in all his scenes. He does have a bit of an arc across the trilogy, though, and that is much more interesting over time because that really kicks off for both of them in book two. Uh,
I was can I just before you continue, I just say I
Go
was
ahead.
so happy Septimus didn't die in this book.
Oh yeah, no, they set you up to think he might.
Like,
Yeah,
They really do.
because he's like first he gets horribly maimed trying to stop a bad thing from happening,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
a good job. He was successful. How but also it's like okay, now he's lost an arm and an eye.
when
Yeah.
when Talos finds him, he is like, it's like the worst shape possible that you can like picture in your mind.
Yeah. Like
He probably looked like I want to like Guts post eclipse essentially.
a bit, yeah, it's pretty similar. Uh
Missing arm, missing eye.
Yeah, and as we are focusing a lot more on characters, I will take a moment to just list out our characters, and we can give opinions on all of them because we'll go over like specific scenes and whatnot, but like we need to know the players in this podcast, and we'll probably just give our opinions on each of these as we go through them. So, First Claw is our main group of boys. And Talos, who we've already said a good bit about.
Yeah, our
It
protagonist.
also yeah. And we also have Syrian, our smartass but kind of pessimist guy. He's the group funny man, and also has a corruption of Slanesh that allows him to feel fear in other living beings. Which of course he doesn't feel much around most of the Astartes, but the human slaves, the soul of Vandred, and of course when they're in battle, he gets to sense all of that. Zarl, the best fighter in the group and probably one of the best fighters in all of 10th Company. He's known for being especially dangerous, and he is Talos' childhood friend. Uzas, not originally in First Claw, a leftover from another, and corrupted by Khorne. Everyone hates him. Everyone hates him. That's a lot of his character. Bloodlust and hatred. Uh, we also wind up acquiring uh, Adamar and Mercutian from Seventh Claw after a little scuffle with a Titan. They don't have as much characterization in this book because they come in like halfway or so through, but they're all right.
One of them dies.
Yeah, Adamar dies trying to save the homies. Rest in peace, you a real one for squaring up to a dreadnought.
Yeah, being a single space marine fighting a dreadnought is kind of like that image of like an ant trying to fight like a turtle or some shit. Where it's like this
Yeah.
is not scaled properly for you.
Yeah, because like like all of First Claw was trying to fight him, and they were getting their asses beat until our War Sage comes in for the save. With the salty run back on the dude he already killed. I love that so much.
I really like all of First Claw though, like including the new members. I like some definitely get more time to shine than others, and some I like more than others. But like even like Uzas, enjoyed reading. I did like at points when my one of my favorite moments in the entire book is when Talos just sicks Uzas on a blood angel like a dog.
Yeah.
And then eventually Talos just interrupts and kills the blood angel in the middle of the fight because he's like, "You're taking too long."
Yeah. I'll let you have your fun, but come on, man.
Yeah, like we're on a timetable here.
We had a war
Which,
hater.
which, as someone who likes the blood angels, I felt bad for them. but at the same time, I like these Night Lords, so it's like conflicted.
Yeah.
If they were Lamenters, I would have felt extra bad.
Well, you always have to feel bad for Lamenters.
For context, Pig, Lamenters are a subsection of the Blood Angels that just suffer all the time, always.
They yell at him like a checkerboard on their shoulders. Yeah. Okay. I know of them.
Seen them.
Yeah, I know of them.
Yeah. It's like,
they get bullied for no reason, really.
Imagine all the stuff I've been complaining about happening to Spider-Man in comics, and that, like, they just embody that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of First Claw, we have our slaves.
The demon, the demon Chaos Lord named Paul. We have to workshop that later.
Oh man, you kill him and he just goes back into the warp and reforms. We can't get rid of him.
He's here to fuck your wife.
And then get cucked by Venom.
Would that be Zinch or Slanesh?
Slanesh.
Slanesh. Absolutely.
Sorry for derailing. I just the thought entered my mind and was clawing at the inside of it like goose ass.
Yeah. Yeah, like goose ass. Outside of First Claw, we have Talos's two slaves, Septimus and Octavia, the 7th and the 8th, as he renames all the slaves he acquires.
In numerical order. And by the way, I this is a genuine question. I forgot her name before she got called Octavia.
Eurydice.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the book stopped using it, so I also forgot it.
It stopped using it at like halfway through part 2 of the book.
Yeah, she starts to just accept her lot in life, and that becomes her identity.
Which is interesting to me that her name is clearly from the Greek god.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Greek mythological character, the wife of Orpheus. I thought that was interesting. It kind of makes sense for the bullshit she has to deal with.
Right.
She at the very least gets an extra like. They can't just horribly murder me because I'm too valuable as a navigator. So she has that in her pocket at least.
And also, like Talos specifically, like sought her out. So that's like another layer of like, oh, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
At least from people on the ship.
Mm-hmm. No one can eat her or kill her.
There is a ship tradition of being protected by the Marine you are a serf of, and you even get a physical token showing, I'm under protection, you fuck with me, you die by their hands. And when Night Lords kill, it ain't quick. It ain't subtle. You get the skin ripped off you. You are getting flayed and tortured, and you will beg for death, and maybe you'll get it an hour after you start begging.
Yeah.
It's bad with the Night Lords.
It's. I really enjoyed her and Septimus's like bonding.
It's really sweet because like you can tell Septimus was like he was getting by, fine enough for his position, but you could tell that he was missing a regular human interaction, and like it would bring a smile to him having someone he could actually connect with.
One thing I like about their bonding is like it's not romantic at all.
Yeah, it's a companionship due to horrible circumstance.
Like at first there's even a line about how like at first she can't even consider it because there's the line of like he looked around 30 and he'd probably be handsome if he wasn't a heretic.
Yeah,
it's not that he's a bad-looking guy. She's just so upset about the situation she's in that she can't consider having a relationship of any sort with anyone here.
Also, navigator houses are also weird in general.
Yeah, like she's from a navigator house, and they're like a wealthy house. Like from what we learned from her, like her house was like one of the lower rung, like real low.
She's a shit tier genetics, but still the mutation makes her inherently valuable. So she was still quite well off on Terra, but compared to like her peers, the other houses, yeah, she was kind of shit.
Yeah, she could afford a nice Camaro. She could not afford a Bugatti.
She's her tier of Navigator House is like not great, but like part of why I bring that up is it's interesting to me that she would even think about like the attractiveness of someone in that way in general, because Navigator houses are weird because they a lot of them do arranged marriages and breeding. So
Yeah, because
so I was like, oh well, good for her that she's not trapped in that horrible nightmare and is instead trapped in this horrible nightmare.
well,
yeah,
well, I mean, which is worse?
Well, I mean, she has like a house,
it's a matter
and
of perspective, really.
she has like a house, and it's not in space on a war vessel at home.
Yeah,
So that's
like
probably better.
it is objectively like a life of comfort, but you don't get to live it with any sort of freedom.
Yeah.
Like
It,
that's
there
actually one
does
of the
tend to be a compulsion to sail the stars as a navigator. Like you have this genetic gift, and you have an internal urge to use it. So like you do get fulfillment, but you don't get choices in that.
like when Septimus is telling her like, "Hey, it's not so bad out here." Like that's one of his points. Like every day you're gonna see something different. You have like your like a choice out here.
Yeah, if you have a sense of wonder and discovery, it's not the worst place to be. You could do worse,
Every
but
day is
but at
different.
the,
You do
but at
things every
the
day.
but at the same time, every day could also be your last. It's that gamble that you kind of take in this fucking setting, this
Yeah.
horrible nightmare setting. That's yeah.
Uh,
It's go ahead, go ahead.
oh no, I was about to move on to other characters. So if you had
Yeah.
another thing to say on this,
No.
No,
I'm down to hear the next one.
Ulysses and Septimus are great.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're really
you
good.
will eventually learn his real name if you continue the trilogy.
Ah, good.
Hmm,
Uh,
interesting.
but yeah, the last two, or no, there's more than two. Because the Atramentar are somewhat noteworthy, but they're not big enough players to really go into. The last two really noteworthy Night Lord characters are the Exalted and the War Sage Malkarian. So who do you want first?
War Sage.
Uh, yeah, War Sage. We'll do him first.
Okay, former captain of the 10th until he fell in battle. He was like just a legendary Giga Chad of a space marine that got entombed against his will in the Dreadnought, which is, the mecha battle sarcophagus of the Space Marines.
Yeah, have you seen that
He,
clip from Space Marine 2 of the big robot fighting the dragon? He's one of those.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the ultimate way to sell anyone on Dreadnoughts.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, I want to make the like clear of like what dreadnoughts are. They are dead guys that like instead of being buried in the ground, they got put into a mecha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are Space Marines who have died and are now alive again, but just barely.
Yeah, they cling on to life. Instead of being invalids, their nervous system is patched through to a robot body that surrounds them. Uh,
One of the things I really enjoyed this book, like talking about how fucking horrifying the concept of dreadnoughts are when you get into like the biology of it, like the
oh yeah,
points
because
where
he can
he's
still
up.
feel it all.
Yeah, the points where sometimes there's a disconnect between him moving the mech and him like basically sliding around in the goo he's in.
Oh
Like
yeah.
physically, there's a lot of it's uh, uh, there's a lot of comparisons for why I like a lot of the old like expanded universe stuff for Star Wars, where there's a lot of overlap with what I like about 40K lore dives and all that, and it's very familiar to me of like the descriptions of wearing these mech suits or wearing this like stuff. It's like, oh, I can do all these things now of these mechanical parts, and then it's like, no, there's still a nightmare element to it that you just don't think about because a lot of times people are like into the power fantasy aspect of it. But like being in a dreadnought, I mean, it's better than being dead, I guess, but like it still seems like it kind of sucks.
I don't think it's better than being
Yeah,
dead. I'll be honest.
but it's and there's still something admirable about it, because like he's not just any space marine. He was a captain and a revered, like, wise leader that people look up to, and even wrote books. Like, you know, half the chapters start with a quote that is credited as the war sage Malkarian, excerpted from his work, the Teberan Path or something like that.
Yeah, I
The
didn't.
Tenebrous Path.
I because he wasn't the only character who got quoted that you didn't. Uh,
Yeah,
because like he like you got the flashbacks of Conrad Curse, but like I was like, oh well, Conrad's already dead at this point, so we're probably not gonna see him again. So I didn't expect we'd get Malkarian like in the
yeah,
story. So that was a good twist. It's like,
yeah.
oh, he is still alive. He's just in a box.
Yeah, you get scenes with Malkarian after he gets quoted, and you also get scenes with Kurz through flashbacks later on as well. Uh, but being the living the life he lived, he knows what a dreadnought means to the Space Marines around them. Because Space Marines, until you get in one, like dreadnoughts are viewed as like one of the highest honors, and they are the most inspirational thing that you could see outside of a Primarch, fighting alongside you.
It's
And Malkarian knows that, and he's putting on the act. He's like letting them know, like, this is so glorious. I yearn for the battle. But Talos sees through his bullshit and has this nice, quiet moment with him that isn't actually quiet. It's very loud. They have to talk through Vox. But they have this nice little moment where he sits down and he's like, "How was your first battle back?" "It was glorious. The bloodshed. Oh, my autoloader cycling through so much death and destruction I launched upon my enemies." Yeah, and how was it really? I
oh
hate
god, I
this
want
so
to be
much.
dead. I wish I
Just,
was dead.
I feel nothing.
That was
I
my
hate that I got put in here.
that was my favorite part of the book.
Yeah,
That probably is my second favorite. We'll get to my favorite later,
is,
but it's
is,
really good.
is it the flashback with the mom?
It's the flash. It's the well. You know what? That's also really good. But it's the other flashback.
Okay, we'll get to those. We still have to get through a description of the Exalted at least.
But just with I really liked how dreadnoughts were depicted, and it would be fun at some point, Pig, to go through like here's how each faction views dreadnoughts. There's a really good excerpt from a story of the Tau discovering what a dreadnought is for the first time, and basically just like having a moral panic attack because because they pop open the sarcophagus and just see like the remains of the Space Marine's body just glaring at them, and the Tau is just like panicking and freaking out, and the Space Marine's like, either let me kill you or kill me already, as the Tau is just like
Yeah.
crying. It's
Yeah.
really funny.
Meanwhile, the orcs saw them in battle and thought, "That's fucking cool," and they made their own shitty knockoff of it.
The Killicans. Love the
Yeah, well,
Killicans.
that's the Grot version. The Death Dread is the orc version.
Yeah. But the Exalted.
The Exalted.
Actually, before we go to
Captain Vandred.
I want to go just one more thing about the dreadnought.
Yeah.
He still has like a sense of humor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked him lying about what the sound was when he tried to chuckle. Because he's like, no, I'm keeping that for me, so I can laugh at people they don't know.
no, it's just my gun cycling.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great
Like,
when the Blood Angel Dreadnought shows up and does the same thing.
well, like when he wakes up, he's fucking shit talking the captain guy.
You're uglier than I remember. I didn't think it was possible.
Why do you spell so bad?
Why are you stinky?
It's so good. Like, Malkarian's great. He's just a fun time. The Exalted is a different kind of fun time. He took over for 10th Company after Vandred fell in battle. And at some point, we don't know when, but he got corrupted by a demon and became the Exalted, who is not just like his personality changed. He is physically mutated. He has bits of like flesh and muscle poking out of places. His jaw is all kinds of malformed with too many teeth. He's like drooling half the time. Like his nails or teeth will sometimes cut him casually, and he just won't react. He'll just let it bleed, maybe taste the blood. Like he's fucked up.
The book often describes him as the creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because he's no longer a normal man anymore. Like, well, normal space marine, that is.
Right.
But like, what was once a guy who, to be fair, they didn't like. He wasn't their favorite. No, he wasn't like, oh no, my best buddy. But they still respected him to a degree. But all of that is just eroded away.
Oh yeah. And like it's not that the demon is fully taken over. Vandred is still in there, as we discussed a bit earlier. And the Exalted needs Vandred to still exist because otherwise, there goes the knowledge base on how all of this works. Like all the expertise in void combat, that is not the demon. The demon don't know shit. That is all Vandred. And I like that that's a forced symbiosis because if the demon goes too far, it can't access Vandred anymore, and it needs that to be in charge.
It needs access to him to actually be in charge of the Night Lords, because otherwise the Night Lords would just kill it.
Yeah, I enjoy
Why
the
would we
fact
want
that,
it? Why would we want a rogue demon on our ship? Kill it.
yeah. The only thing that might save him is like the loyalty of the Atramentar, which are like the dudes that he picked to give all of the Terminator armor to, and are like the most loyal to him. So, but I enjoy the author putting him and Syrian with their particular afflictions on the same ship because without Syrian's insight, you don't get near as much of the tragedy of the character. Whereas, like, there's a couple moments where Syrian pulls Talos aside to be like, you don't hear what I'm hearing. You don't know what's going on here. Vandred's been losing for a while, but now he is actually just screaming internally, and I hear it, and it's bad, dude.
Yeah, God, being an empathetic character in the 40K setting, like as the sense of like I can sense other emotions.
Yeah.
God, it's such a painful nightmare because there's a lot of psychers who have that problem.
Oh yeah.
So because he's touched by Slaanesh is why he has that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that he could be dealing with it way worse, but even then, it's like, oh God, what a nightmare.
Yeah. Of our three corrupted characters, Syrian is currently handling it the best, probably.
Uh, honestly, I think Uzas might be handling it worse than the Exalted.
I mean, he's literally shaking and vibrating for violence.
So that 10, like even before he was saying, like as soon as I saw him acting up, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's Corn, because he's going full Corn berserker. Especially by the point where he's just screaming the classic "blood for the blood god,"
That's
skulls for the skull throne. And
that's
all
like
that.
that's like one of his first lines.
Well, he mentions it, but he doesn't. He like is screaming it later.
Oh yeah.
Muskulls.
God, shout outs to that moment, like right after they get ejected into the void, and Zarl has to grab Talos because he bumped his head on the way out. And he's Septimus, confirm you have the rest of First Claw on board. Confirmed, Lord. Confirmed you have Uzas? Yes, Lord. Shame. It's one of my favorite exchanges.
I love to just reference that briefly. I fucking love Talos's plan of like well, we have nowhere else to go. I'm gonna eject us into space, and then even though it was his plan, he fucking hits his head on the wall on the way out.
Yeah, and the whole squad is sitting there mad that Uzas is the one who gets zero injury from this fucking plan.
I unironically would say that Corn threw him a bone because that feels like a thing Corn would do.
All right. So that's most of our major players here. We get Abaddon the Despoiler, who is essentially the Emperor Palpatine of the setting, more or less, if you need an equivalent. Uh,
Can we take a second to talk about Abaddon?
I think this book does his presentation more justice than a lot of other things does.
I was gonna say, even Abaddon in this book, I couldn't stop laughing every time someone calls him a loser and a failure.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, I explained that to you, right? Like
Yeah,
why
yeah,
Abaddon
like,
is seen as a loser.
yeah. You had told me because he is like the bad guy, he has to always lose.
Yeah, and he's
Abaddon
had
is
12
the
massive L's.
and the 13th one is only successful because it's a you didn't win, you didn't win, you didn't win.
Yeah, and that hasn't happened yet. The Black Crusade he's mentioning to Talos, he's prepping for the 13th Black Crusade. That
Which
the
is the
context.
only one that is kind of successful with a huge asterisk.
But Abaddon, you keep losing. Why do you keep doing this?
And every time he wins, a Primarch comes back for the good guys.
My favorite part was when he was like, how can you judge if they're truly failures or not? What insight do you have? And that's the most like you know the image of the smug Wojak mask on top of the shitting, crying Wojak.
Yeah.
That is just what that image was in my head of Abaddon doing that to Talos.
Like,
And Talos is like, I can see you lose. I can see it.
like
I'm not
Yeah.
using my future sight. It's right over there. You're losing.
the Exalted is loyal to him simply because he is the War Master.
Right.
But like,
Yeah,
from Talos' perspective, I the reader's perspective, like, no, don't listen to Abaddon. We should. It's better for us to just leave him to his own devices and like not risk our guys.
I was gonna ask, did you want any context for that? For like why being the War Master even matters?
I actually know the concept because Horus was the first War Master,
Yeah,
and he took that name after Horus died. So
yeah,
like
because
that title has reverence.
and a part of why it especially has reverence is because Horus died so fucking hard that Abaddon, like, just when Abaddon takes the title, that puts a lot of like, oh, he's the new big bad, which is, as like Para explained off recording, it's like, yeah, that's why he loses and has to run away and go, I'll get you next time, Gadget, and then run away.
Yeah.
But
But he's also the chosen champion of like the 4 Chaos Gods because Horus was before that.
Well, yeah, because Abaddon was one of Horus's like most loyal and competent, like, under his command of his Space Marines.
His top
And
guy.
so when Horus dies, the Chaos Gods were like, okay, and they sifted through their pocket and they're like, okay, this is the runner-up, this other guy.
Yeah. Now, him actually taking the title was a whole thing because he had, I believe, I'm not sure if he actually had old Fabulous Bill. I think it was Bile. But he had clones made of Horus to work out his daddy issues. So he's in his Terminator plate, right? Because he has Terminator armor and he just basically never takes it off. But like immediately after all that stuff goes down, he has clones of Horus made and they're all imperfect. But then one of them somehow just has a light in his eyes and becomes actually aware and it's almost like it's the real Horus. And he sees Abaddon in the Terminator plate wielding his gauntlet with the fucking I believe that was bestowed upon him by the Emperor originally.
Yeah.
And Abaddon's wielding it, and he looks over, and in his moment of awareness, and just being basically Horus, says, "That's mine." And then Abaddon immediately like sees, okay, this is the one, and kills the Horus clone. And it kind of goes hard, and it's really cool, and makes you go, "Wow, yeah, he's the new guy." And then he loses 12 Black Crusades.
The fact that, like, it's like the War Master was a title the Emperor gave Horus before Horus then turned to Chaos and used it as his, like, I'm going against you, Emperor title. And then Abaddon took it and then like had his dad cloned just so he could kill him and go, "Nuh-uh, it's gonna be me." Is it was genuinely well executed, but then he's just been a loser ever since, and it's been like, oh. So
It doesn't help that his model was also very low quality for a lot of the time, so he had the title in the fan base of Abaddon the Armless because they couldn't get his arms to stay on.
like hearing that like from an outsider's perspective, that it comes off as more petty than than anything.
Well, yeah, he's a very petty person. Pig, the only reason the 13th Black Crusade is somewhat successful is because he takes an incredibly giant and rare space station and throws it into the planet in a fit of "you didn't win, you didn't win."
I mean,
because otherwise he would have lost the fight. But
yeah.
then he blew up Cadia by launching a giant space station, which there are only a few of. So it was actually probably a super big waste.
Yeah. And bringing it back to Soul Hunter, like it's exemplified in a line from the book where it talks about like Talos is smarting off about how like your Black Crusades aren't all that and you ain't all that and all this. And the book just says Abaddon could have laughed it off. It would have been the mark of a good leader to laugh and show being above this. But instead, Abaddon shot him with his Stormbolter.
Because Abaddon is not a good leader, but what he is really good at being persistent. He's not necessarily the best leader or champion of chaos despite being their chosen champion, but he won't fuck off. And that's almost as good.
You can't keep this man down, but that doesn't mean he's going to get up.
But to transition into talking about Talos is Talos gets put in a coma, and then there is what was his name? The traitor who joined the Black Legion.
Reuven.
You say Reuven? Yeah, Reuven had joined, left the Night Lords and joined the Black Legion properly to become like one of their like psychers essentially, or wizards. And so he enacts this ritual on Talos where Talos gets tempted by the 4 different representations of the Chaos Gods. And I really enjoyed that sequence.
It's great. Shout out to the Nurgle one, just knowing better. You just, all right, what do you got? Look, we both know you ain't taking what I want. I don't even want you that bad. I don't know why I'm here. Go to the next one.
Yeah, the Nurgle one was so funny to me because Nurgle is very picky with his chaos guys.
Yeah, if he picks you, then he loves you like almost unconditionally.
Like
he's got to pick you.
Yeah, Nurgle choosing you is the most unlikely one. And I think Khorne just choosing you is the most likely, I'd say.
Khorne will take anyone willing
to fall into.
Khorne will take anyone willing to kill people.
Listen, as long as you're running and hitting them in the face, that's the important thing.
Yeah, don't be sneaky about it. That's a big no-no for Khorne. You gotta be straight up with your violence.
Yeah, that's why like Uzas just drools and runs at them screaming.
Like the other 3 Chaos Gods, they offer him like things that he would want, but like he knows better that like, but it's better.
Talos is too autistic to be corrupted. He sees all these visions of him being more powerful than he is, and goes, "That's not true, though. That's wrong. That is an incorrect situation for me to be in."
Like it's like no, I gotta be here for I gotta be here for my company.
No, the boys need me.
The boys need me.
The boys need me, and Daddy wouldn't have done it like that. So
very much no. Like. If Conrads wouldn't do it, I won't.
Yeah, Conrad dying as a renegade / traitor Primarch and never being a Chaos Primarch is one of my favorite things about him.
Oh yeah, and like even though there were Night Lords that he obviously enjoyed the company of and would even have private counsel with just to have a chat, like Talos, like even he would admit like. That affection only goes so far. The Legion as a whole, he despised. because it's just a reflection of, everything he had that crumbled around just because people are that shitty. So he says to Talos' face in one of the flashback scenes, "Do you really think I care what happens to any of you after I die?" And man, that line goes hard.
It's like I'll be dead.
Mm.
I'll
And
be
I'll be right.
I'll be right in my vindication of being dead.
It's so like, because Pig, like, they go through the scene where like the Emperor first shows up and he immediately calls Conrad Kurz by the name he intended to give him, even though he doesn't do that with most Primarchs. He just, whatever name they have, they have. With Conrad, he tried to give him his proper name, and Conrad immediately says, "That's not my name. I'm the Night Haunter." And not addressed in this book is the Emperor came with a few of the other Primarchs that would wind up having some downfalls, and Conrad immediately saw future visions of how each of their fates would end up in the Horus Heresy, and all of them came true over time. And he was a persistent believer that you can control humanity through fear, but you gotta be on that shit. And our ways are messier, brutaler, and more fucked up, but more efficient, and we will kill less people and maintain humanity better in our ways. But this is still all going downhill, and he's all doom and gloom about it. And the Emperor, being the inspirational leader he was, like, no, humanity can be better, and we will, unite all of us across this whole galaxy and rule it as one united Imperium. And Conrad even foresaw his own death at the hands of Emshen. That's why he just lets her do it, because he just knows this is the one. And to him, even though like he's halfway insane by that point, like he dies in satisfaction because, as he says, death is nothing compared to vindication. So he, at the end, like, all of his visions come true, including the last one about himself, and he just knows he was right the whole time, and he's satisfied, and I love that about him.
I mean, when you're born with like super schizophrenia, and then you live in Gotham, but like worse.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, at that point, that's really the best you're gonna get out of life when you know you're at your end.
Nostromo is like, what if Blighttown was also Gotham? And there was no
That's
Batman.
correct. And that's the whole planet.
It's the whole planet.
And there's no Batman.
Pig, I'm sorry, this is another tangent, but can we just pretend that Tasha Yar came from Nostromo?
Oh my god.
Because that would explain a lot.
The description of the rape gang planet kind of fits.
Yeah.
Like,
oh god, I love the idea of Night Haunter fangirl Tasha Yar now.
Oh man. Okay, that's
yeah.
Lock that in the vault. Put a pin in that. That's going somewhere.
You know,
Picard, you don't understand. He would skin them, and then it would get better. I understand, officer, but I will not allow you to skin Riker.
You know, this is the second book podcast, and also the second Star Trek reference.
In the books, yeah. Yeah, I'm proud of my Star Trek connection from the last one. That well, there's like a clan leader in the cat book that Pig took me through, and my description of her as a character in a single sentence was, "This character is what Janeway should have been," and Pig was just like, "Holy shit, yeah, you're right."
Yeah. One thing I would like to say though, because we talked about the dreadnought scene where it's like, oh man, I hate being like this.
Yeah.
But I'm doing what I can to help the men. But like, oh god, I don't like this. We were talking about two other scenes, which were flashback scenes. First, I want to go through what's probably my third favorite scene, which is the mother scene.
Okay, yeah.
When I read that,
would you like to describe it, or should I?
Right after reading it, I like immediately like quoted like quoted something from that segment of the story in the chat, in the group chat.
So, yeah, I'm just like, I see you're enjoying the book.
So I would like to describe that scene.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, the floor is yours.
All the Night Lords land back on Nostromo, and they're basically just doing like a little parade.
Yeah, pre-heresy.
Pre-heresy, they're doing a parade for the citizens of Nostromo. While they're parading, an old woman like, comes out from the crowd and like starts like calling for them. She eventually just calls for Talos and one other guy, like by name.
Yeah, Zarl, his friend.
Talos and Zaro by name. And, like Talos, the entire time is just like trying his best to ignore her. He's noticing her, but he's like, "No, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look." Eventually, the old woman gets killed by like one of like the other like people there.
Like a guardsman who's nearby running security.
Yeah, like don't get near to that the Space Marines will kill you. Yeah. So he goes back home and like he's trying really hard to like no we didn't know her, but Talos that was our names, Talos. I think that was our mother. Like no we didn't see her, we didn't hear her, we don't know her. And I forget the exact quote.
Talos is just putting his fingers in his ears at that point.
I forget the exact quote, but it's something along the lines of he regretted ignoring her.
Oh no, it was because I remember it was immediately after like the gunshot and she dies. It's Talos hated himself for feeling relief.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, he didn't really look at her directly, but you'd think he'd recognize his mother's voice. And when Zarl's being like, "You really didn't recognize her?" He's like, "No, I didn't. What are you talking about? That was your mom, dude." And the scene just ends with that.
That is a very good showing of just how fucked up it is. Like taking the Night Lord stuff like aside from it, the returning to Nostromo, like it shows part of why it's so fucked up for a majority of legions and then later chapters of Space Marines. Because it's like, yeah, you are. It's like to quote Invincible, "What will you have after 5,000 years?"
Yeah, it's like he was only gone for 20 at that point.
Yeah, he was gone for 20, but he had seen, fought, and killed so much that his like mental state is just completely changed.
That scene gets so dark, man.
And when you're
your favorite scene, Pig?
No, my favorite is the one where he's talking to the Dreadnought.
Oh yeah, you said that. My bad.
Like this is probably my second favorite scene.
For me, this is my third favorite scene, and the Dreadnought's my second favorite, because my first favorite is when we find out why his name is Soul Hunter.
Yes!
So that's my favorite. And earlier in the book, it's like, and the reason why I was called Soul Hunter, and they changed topic. I'm like, no, fuck you, go back.
Yeah, they tease you with it until like the last 2, maybe 3 hours tops.
And now here's the thing. I knew about how Conrad Kurz would eventually die, and I knew he died to a Calidus assassin. I didn't remember her name. I didn't know what happened to that Calidus assassin until I read the book.
Yeah.
Because I just heard, I'm like, oh, cool, a normal human, in a million quotation marks, normal human managed to kill a Primarch. That's really interesting. I mean, sure, he let it happen, but that's still really interesting. What happened to her? Oh, she died later. I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't look into it more than that. I didn't realize by later meant probably like 30 minutes.
Yeah, like there was a chase scene out of Nostromo. She makes it to the ship, but the Space Marines just have better ships, so they catch up to her, board her, and Talos happens to be the one to catch up. And it's like, slide aside, just because it is winds up being part of the fight. I enjoyed this book's determination to, just let you know. Yeah, we know about the weird stuff that Space Marines can do. You have Talos like drinking blood from the corpse and experiencing some of the knowledge and memories of that guy before he died.
I completely forgot to mention that. because that is some of my favorite aspects of Space Marines that people don't use, is the shit where it's like, oh, I can just spit acid on you if I want to. And I was
Yeah.
so happy to see that in the book
I
properly.
can eat you and absorb your memories.
Yeah, it's so good. Just like knowledge of what this person is. Yeah, I get that from your blood. What of it? Oh man, I have acid spit, and that's mentioned twice in the book. He has to I think he like unintentionally like starts generating saliva just because he's really pissed off and has to swallow it, and it kind of stings on the way down like earlier on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
it's
then
played
like he
off
uses it in the fight with Emshin.
like it's kind of played off as like, oh, he kind of threw up in his mouth a little. But it's like, so
Okay.
it's like this whole thing of like, oh no, that's acid. He can just spit out.
Yeah, because it's a weapon. It's just
Yeah.
he was more focused. He was just did that by instinct because he was so fucking mad. And then it's
Yeah,
when he used it when he was so mad.
yeah, and like just shout outs to Assassin because we haven't described assassins, but they're genetic freaks and they're not normal. They are.
Yeah.
There's four classes of assassins, and they are all like physically trained to the edge of what a human would ever be capable of, and mental conditioned and educated and trained and blah blah blah. They are freaks.
Yeah, they're all Scott
Uh,
Steiners. They're all John Jones. They're all Jay Cutler.
Yeah, exactly.
I was curious because I don't think you had much experience with how the assassins worked. What did you think reading about like a normal human keeping up with a space marine?
I was like, oh, that's crazy. How do
Yeah,
you do
because
that?
I was very happy at how like much like obviously it doesn't go well for her in the end, but like the fact that she got away that many times and survived for as long as she did is really cool, and I appreciate someone writing out like, hey, assassins aren't just cannon fodder for a space marine if they had to run into each other.
The assassins got some schmooze.
They have the fucking the hidden ring weapons.
Yeah.
They didn't even get to it. The Calidus assassins are the ones that shapeshift.
Yeah, she just didn't need it because, well, Kurz let it happen, and he specifically instructed the entire Legion to not chase. They only started because they realized, wait, she's got our stuff.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
stole a bunch of relics. One being Conrad Kurz's crown, one of his rings.
Yeah, like the things that should have been treasured by the Legion, and everybody wanted them. One, because, you know, the emotional sentiment. Two, like, you know, Kurz's relics could also, like, kind of justify a claim of I'm the new leader.
Yeah, a
So
lot of
everybody wanted them.
a lot of them are just like a lot of them just wanted like them for greedy reasons, as we're like told. Because like
Yeah, and
there's like one guy that flees after like recovering one of them.
that guy is like, I got the thing back. See you later, fuckers.
yeah, it's great.
Like,
But it does loop back around to like why he's called Soul Hunter, because Kurz predicts that Talos will be the one person to disobey the order and hunt down the one soul that everyone is instructed not to touch.
you will
for
hunt
revenge.
You will hunt one soul
when all others turn their backs on vengeance.
And like even the people who went back, they didn't even attempt to also get vengeance. They just
wanted the
left.
stuff. Yeah, it's oh, somebody else grabbed the stuff. I guess we're done here. Hey, Talos, you coming?
Oh, jeez. I can't believe someone murdered my dad. Wait a minute. They took his beer cozy. Fuck you. Give that back.
Right. I got dibs on Dad's truck nuts.
I don't know why, but I just imagine someone like she's running away and she has like the truck nuts, a beer cozy, and then she looks at that door of like Conrad Kurz's house and takes the welcome mat. And on the welcome mat, it just says, "This isn't a horror house; it's a horror home."
I'm imagining instead of Kurz's crown, it's one of the hats with two beer cans on either side.
No, not his beer hat.
Conrad Kurz secretly was an alcoholic, not schizophrenic at all.
Yeah.
He just loved to booze.
You love to booze and talk shit.
But I really like that fight. Just gets so fucking visceral.
Yeah, because Talos, like, in order to be able to, like, engage with her and know that he'll win, he had to rob her of two senses. Uh, and, like, the scream, like, was actually well set up because they do something similar earlier on in the book, when they're
Oh.
invading the Sword of the Emperor.
I was also I was thinking of the guy where they grab him and they yell at him. Was that on the Sword of the Emperor?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
okay.
after. When they get to the bridge, Talos screams, and they're all, like, clutching their ears, like,
Ah,
oh my
right, yeah.
god. Yeah.
Yeah, because listen, Space Marine's got 3 lungs, right?
And they'll use them.
Yeah, and I really liked that fight because he knew he wouldn't be able to just like get in and overpower her. And as smart as Space Marines can be tactically, if it wasn't for the fact he was a Night Lord, he may not have used the techniques he did.
Yeah.
Like,
They
like
are very much like, fuck you, I will win, and I will play dirty.
yeah, Night Lords don't have honor, and that tends to be a good thing for them.
Win
Yeah.
by any means necessary.
There is a line in, I forget if it's the second or third book about that specifically, where they talk about fair fights, and Syrian pipes up, we don't tend to win those. And then like they immediately follow up with, so we're setting the odds in our favor to where this is going to be an unfair ambush. We tend to win those.
God.
Even when the battle with the Sword of the Emperor starts, it's like we will not let them set the tempo.
Yeah. It's so good. Um, since you guys took a couple of the strongest scenes, I guess my shout out will be more just for a single line. It'll be like after like Talos has been tempted with, like being the powerful blood-soaked warmonger of Khorne, or being, the revered leader of the 10th Company, whatever. He says no to all those because either it's not him, or, he Kurz wouldn't have done it, and he just sees it as not the right way. And after he wakes up and goes on this whole pissed off rescue mission for Octavia, because while Septimus was getting maimed, Octavia was getting bound and carried off to find a nice, quiet, safe place for some raping. So we go off on our rescue mission, brutally dismantle them, and he just makes sure they feel the terror beforehand. I love him just popping out of the shadows, catch, and it's his friend's head. That went really hard. But after all of this, the one guy's Vox is left there, and he hears Reuven's voice and has the little chat. And throughout all of the threats of oh, good to hear from you, brother, and I'll kill you when next I see you, Reuven, and all of that. By the end of that chat, Reuven's just insisting, okay, but how did you resist the temptation of the ruinous powers? Because they could give you so much. How did you say no to that? Talos, tell me. And it's just the line, because I am my father's son.
Oh, yeah.
That line went so hard.
When you were describing that thing, I was thinking of a scene that Octavia said. Because before he kills them all, he's intentionally stomping really loudly, and all the guys are
scare the shit out of them.
And the guys go say to Octavia, "Is he coming for you?" And she replies, "No, he's coming for you."
It's so good. I love how confident she was, despite the fact that she has had no interaction with Talos other than getting choked out by him.
Well, she knows that she's like, hey, I'm the navigator he found. He's not going to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just some really strong quotable lines in all of these books.
I did, because I went through it. Basically, how I went through this is we all listened to the audible version,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, shout out to Andrew Wincott narrating this voice. He's
Oh
phenomenal.
yeah,
I'm so happy he's the Night Lord in Space Marine 2.
yeah, he's
Uh,
like all of the audiobooks I've been listening to recently have all had like really good performances.
I wanted to give a lot of credit to his performance because he's very good at doing the different accents for the different
Oh yeah.
characters. There's a thick, like Slavic, like former USSR state, like voice to all of the Night Lords or the people from Nostromo, and he's
Yeah.
got does a very good job of giving them that distinct guttural accent, but still making all of the voices he does for the characters from Nostromo different. And I'm a really big fan of like the flavor he gives
Oh yeah.
everyone in the book and the Night Lords in general. Uh, I was looking at his credits because I wanted to confirm it was the same one, and it is. Pig, you have heard this guy before, though.
Have I?
He is Raphael in Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh,
Yo!
Yeah, same actor.
Nice.
So yeah, no, really good actor and really good at placing like evil assholes.
Oh yeah, I love him. Just like you'll either throw up like, okay, this voice is gruffer, or this one is a bit higher, or this one just talks slower. And it's just enough variety to where everyone feels at least a little distinct.
if
Oh,
you want a talented voice actor, go into audiobooks. Find some guys and girls there.
There's
a
some
lot,
talented people.
a lot of very talented British theater actors who also do books.
Yeah.
I've gotten used to their voices because of playing FF14.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair.
Oh,
Yep.
I was just gonna say. Apparently, he voiced one of the main characters of the Blood Angels in that Angels of Death like series that Warhammer had made.
Oh, is it on their like paywalled like channel of like shows that nobody wanted to
Yeah,
pay for?
yeah, that seems to be the case.
Yeah, it turns out your fans were doing that for free for years and giving you all that advertising, and you wanted to make a paid thing instead, so you killed all the creative projects around your fan base.
Wah, wah.
Oh, oh well. But
I am assuming he will show up as a Night Lord character in that
but-
game that's coming
yeah,
out.
the new Owlcat game.
He is
God, I
John
hope
Nightlord.
so. He really is. Like,
Peg,
I love.
Para, I know you started a Rogue Trader playthrough. I would highly recommend Pig for you to do that as well.
Start with one.
Yeah, Rogue Trader, because it's a standalone game.
Mhm.
Like they're the same setting, but same developer. Because I think you would get a lot out of it.
Okay.
While we're on the topic of this, but I really just overall, I really like. I expected to enjoy this. This is the book that everyone who reads the 40K books is like, it's good.
Yeah.
You also read it and you're like, it's good. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
probably going to be good. I was still impressed with how good it was.
Yeah, I've jerked it off for enough years, to where you were like, okay, it's probably good.
Because it's one of those things where it's like you have. Maybe this is just the more I've done with 40K, like or looked at 40K, and the more I've experienced with this setting. Maybe it's in general I'm getting a bit more open to some of the more like just like how are you redeemable in any way factions. Yeah,
Right.
but like the Hero of the Night Lords, I was very pleasantly surprised with the sheer amount of nuance, and I was it was a very good read. Now I'm just like, okay, what? How would this writer make a Dark Eldar book? That would be like the ultimate challenge.
Oh yeah, man. I was going to say something, and I was like, wait, he said Dark Eldar. No,
Yeah,
but yeah. Well, luckily you have two more books in this series, which you've already said you intend to continue. And he's done a lot more 40K. He did First Heretic. He did, I think, Master of Mankind. He's done Hell's Reach. He the guy's done some work. and I am here for it. I've loved everything I've read by. He's become my favorite author now, just flat out.
Like not just 40K, but in general.
Yeah, in general, because like the Night Lord's Omnibus, I would say is my favorite book because it's all three of the novels just in one thick volume. I would describe that as being my favorite book. Period. As far as novels go, I still think like Berserk is probably my favorite piece of fiction ever. But for books, this is the start of my favorite thing ever.
Fair enough. It's a really solid thing to put that label on.
Yeah, and like sure, like Dune is probably like if you want to be all analytical, I'd say like Dune might be a better written, better constructed sci-fi novel. Talos is my boy. I can't. What can I say? Uh, so yeah, we've gone through our characters. We've gone through quite a bit of our favorite scenes in the general plot. Uh, Is there any other like things about the writing in general, or any characters or arcs, anything that you guys want to like focus on that you came in being like, I can't wait to talk about this?
I
Um,
think I got everything I needed to get out.
I may have already said this, but like more a concise version of it. But this book does a really good job of humanizing what you would view as a as an evil faction, and does a
Oh
really
yeah,
good job of of showing like their point of view and like why they view like the Imperium as evil, the Imperium and the God Emperor as evil.
yeah. And like I said, Talos has like very early in the second book. Talos has a speech where someone asks him why he's doing what he's doing, and he tells you like his whole spiel about how he built this imperium and he can tear it down if he wants and all this. It's really good. I look forward to like Wolfo and maybe Pig if you feel like continuing this on your own time, because I'm probably not going to be recommending just the second book in this on the podcast anytime soon. Uh, but yeah, there's definitely a lot more good character stuff to come, and the last segment I really wanted to do before we start wrapping up here is more focused on you, Pig, because this is your first 40K book, and I know that you had a couple confusions that I later cleared up for you, like you told me that you thought this was quickly after the Horus Heresy because there are characters from the Heresy here,
Yeah,
and I have to explain that warp travel makes them experience a lot less time. So they're a few hundred years old, but in time it's been 10,000 years.
yeah, it was like more the case of I don't know where where this is in relation to what I know, like that
Right.
what events I know had already happened.
Yeah, yeah.
That also was a thing I experienced when I was reading Horus Rising. I was like, well, I'm confused because if you have too much outsider knowledge, it can the books kind of just drop you in to whatever time period the book is in.
Yeah, it wasn't until like my second time going through like this book, like I'm like okay, well now I know why this is like where in the timeline this is and why like this is happening and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a
So,
better
I wanted
understanding of
to-
what's happening in my second read.
Right. So I wanted to know if there were any other like bits of confusion that us 40K nerds could clear up for you now that we're having our proper discussion, and after that, just how you would say this stands as a first book to go into as 40K.
Um, as a first book, this is probably good. Probably really good.
Yeah, because there's
And-
others I would probably
and-
consider better as an intro, but like this is my favorite, which is why I recommended it first.
Yeah, yeah, there probably is a better intro, like, because like you don't get like an explanation of of what the setting is. Like you reading this book and like the book expects you to already know what the setting is, what a Night Lord is, what the Emperor is, all that.
Right.
Which I knew what the Emperor was. I didn't specifically know what the Night Lords were or what they were about.
Yeah, it's a lot of 40K books are like that, and that's why there's only like a few that people will like say are consistently solid recommends for first timers. Like the first trilogy in the Horus Heresy is a good intro to the setting, but it is technically backstory to the main 40k setting, so it's still not quite the same.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'd consider like a Caiaphas Cain because getting like a perspective from the guards, from relatively good people and fun characters in there is a nice way to ease people in, and they get to fight against different factions and whatnot. But
Like
uh,
for
for like
40,
something as niche as the Night Lords, which don't get a lot of play, I think this does a pretty good job of giving you the feel of the setting.
like 40k is like one of those like properties that like you need like the first thing you should read is like a guidebook or like an encyclopedia.
Yeah, to the frustration of a friend of the show, Raven, rest in peace. They got him. Uh,
I was unaware of this.
yeah, no, yeah, he's our very own Dave Lang. You know, the ghost of Raven may haunt this podcast. We don't know yet. Uh, Much to his frustration, because he tried to get me in through a few things. He recommended me play through Space Marine 1, which I did, but it didn't hook me into the setting. It just made me go, well, this is a good game, and I enjoyed some of these characters. Uh, try to get me to touch the Dawn of War games, not my genre, etc. The thing that finally got me in was I looked up the condensed lore videos that you find all over YouTube. I found like one called 40k timeline in 20 minutes. Started there, watched some of that, watched some of Bricky stuff, I just delved into the rabbit hole like hard. Just okay, give me the context for this whole setting now for over the next 4 hours. And that's how I got in. Wolf, I forget, how did you get in?
I got in through Space Marine 1.
Hmm.
I got in for Space Marine 1, and then I was like, okay, I'm becoming old and feeble enough to be able to enjoy, RTSs.
Ah.
So I'll give this Dawn of War a shot, and I really liked the Dawn of War games. Dark Crusade is, I think, the strongest of them. I really like its like risk board game kind of format for its campaign. And that, I would say Space Marine into that kind of got me in. But like trying to learn, part of what made it easier for me in general is I tend to like wiki diving, finding the source of, okay, where's this from according to the wiki, and then go find the original thing and like read all of it and go through all of it. And this setting really helps for that. It's why I compared it to like the old Star Wars EU stuff.
Yeah,
Where
there's like just loads of book where people made just tons and tons of lore, and you can find something about anything.
Yeah, it's why you can like Google water and you'll get a Wikipedia page.
That's great.
And 40k has a very similar vibe to it.
Yeah.
Also, it
It
also
really
helps that I like fantasy elements, but I like hard science fiction's decent, high fantasy and low fantasy is decent, but I think just space fantasy in general is my jam. And 40k, 40 like once again when I was first getting into this, Raven had been like, I'm happy you didn't immediately like have a problem with like, I don't know, them using melee weapons while also just having guns. And I'm like, well, it's cool.
Yeah.
And also space fantasy, and I like Devil May Cry, so I can understand all of these things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite. One of my favorite 4chan posts ever is still, okay, writers justify using swords and melee weapons in your sci-fi setting, and the guy just responds with the Giga Chad with the expanded big brain skull, saying because it's cool.
I now have this image of like, yes, that's Luke. That was your father's chainsword, a much more civilized weapon for a civilized age.
The chainsword.
Oh man, imagine if that was the weapon everyone was making the noises with their mouths for all these years instead.
God, that'd be so much.
It's a very different noise.
It'd be so much more spittle everywhere.
Right.
Like,
I think that is a. Oh, go ahead.
for me, for me, getting into 40K was like you guys had already gotten into or were getting into it, and I was just like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm just hearing you guys talk about this, and then like, what's that? Could you explain that? What's this? Explain that to me.
Yeah, it's the I'm interested, but I'm not ready to dive into this pool that might be lava. I can't tell
What's
looking at it.
what's a Primarch?
And
What's
that's why I'm
chaos?
here to walk up behind Pig and shove him in.
Explain the warp to me.
The warp is the warp is a whole thing and it has a history. We'd have to get into the War in Heaven to really fully explain the warp.
Is
That's for another
is there a
podcast.
book that's just the warp?
No.
God.
Nothing will top Pig asking me, okay, so what does the Rinnegan do in Naruto?
Oh God.
And the answer is yes.
That is I just link you to the wiki page and say shut up.
You proceeded to show me Madara scenes.
Well, I mean, of course.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
But
yeah, I think
yeah.
we got everything of note.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't go deep into like the way scenes connect together and the overall narrative, but honestly, there'd be too much to cover and go listen to it yourself. Audible
Oh,
credits are like if you get a membership, you get one free every month. Go listen to a book.
okay. Wait, hold on. There's one thing I do want to get out because it's structure. Part of because it does come across really well, especially when you have good audio narrators. But part of what I
Mhm.
really love with writing is when you are physically reading the words, and sometimes some authors are or some voice actors are really good at getting this across in the narration, and I think it's done in this very well. But I also like to when I will read an audiobook, I'll go re-reference the like the physical writing because specific ways books are structured tend to have just a lot of authorial like input into how the wording is paced and stuff. And one of my favorite things to do, like from a writer's perspective, which I really enjoyed in this, was a character will be in the middle of their process or in the middle of an action, and then it gets immediately cut, and the author just starts describing what stopped them.
Oh
Like that happens a
yeah,
lot during the
yeah.
essence fight. That
I
is one
love
of
that
my
stuff.
favorite writing tropes or writing tools, and I really enjoy when it's used. And the author did a really good job of narrating that, or the
Hmm.
not author, voice actor,
Yeah,
because it
the abrupt cut.
yeah, the abrupt cut is very nice, and because I have some of the I have Blood Meridian and a couple of other books from the McCarthy as an author, and I'm very curious how those on Audible are going to be because in reference to like how writing words out can have a different like authorial intent that can get lost upon narration. Uh McCarthy is famous for not using punctuation.
Oh,
Just he doesn't use it.
so lots of
He
run-on sentences and lacks of commas where there should be some.
lack of more like lack of commas or exclamation points or question
Oh
marks.
man. Oh,
He had a
that's
very
rough.
in specifically autistic way of writing. And I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, how do you narrate that and sound natural is what I'm curious about. But I was thinking about that, and that just made me appreciate how well written this book is.
I'm just trying to picture, like, imagine like a question said in not the tone of a question.
Yeah, he makes up for not having the punctuation by being really good at describing the characters and what they're doing. But yeah,
Gotcha. All right. Well, I feel like we covered enough of Soul Hunter. Go listen to an audiobook yourself if you're still listening to us rambling about nothing. Uh,
Audiobooks are good. They
they're
should
very good. Oral storytelling is like one of the oldest human traditions,
bring
and
it
I
back.
enjoy it.
We should stop reading and
Yeah,
just listen.
ooga
it's
chaka,
good.
ooga chaka.
Good shock. All right. So I'd say big thumbs up from all of us. And now We need next month's recommend. Wolfo, did you come prepared?
Wolfo?
Yes. I'm hijacking.
What?